Washington. I have Janeah Davis from Boss Conversations, and today we want to talk about, is Kanye West crazy, or is he sane for fighting for his family? What's going on, Janeah? How are you?
I'm good, brother. How you doing? How you doing? I'm ready for this convo.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you do and what you talk about on Boss Conversations? Now, we're going to talk about Kanye West. Is he crazy? Because one thing that I talk about on my show is the violence in Chicago, right? How does this
Right.
coincide? How does this come back to Chicago? Granted, he's from Chicago and he repped the city. However, how does it come back to the family unit and what we're facing in our communities? Because we're facing 73 to 90% single parent households. And we know for a fact that 70 to 90% of those children will fail. And now, from a male's perspective, I'm going to tell you what I feel about the situation with Kanye West. Y'all can chime in if you agree, disagree, think he crazy. What's going on, sister? Can you please tell me a little bit about Boss Conversations before we proceed?
All right, all right. So yes, Boss Conversations on this show, it is a platform to highlight entrepreneurs, small business owners, people that have bossed up or leveled up in companies, and just really to kind of highlight the little big bosses, as I call it. So on that show, I just talk to people and I'm trying to give some knowledge out to other small business owners as to how they can, be successful.
Okay, so now let's get straight to it. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, they're having a public dispute. Now, one of the things that is playing out publicly is, from what I see, is the using the kids as leverage to play games with each other. That's one of the biggest things that we see today in 2022. That is a complete problem. First, before I get into it, what do you think? Is he crazy, or you think he's cool for trying to fight for his family?
I think, first of all, that we need to add Kim to the equation of is it crazy, because she's working on her third failed marriage and she can't keep a relationship, period. So I personally don't think he's crazy. I think that this man wants to, he has 4 children with her. Kanye has waited a long time to have children, and he's wanted to have his children with the same woman, which he did. And I don't think it's crazy that he wants to be back into the household with his children, especially being that Kim has kept the kids from him to a certain extent. So no, I don't think he's crazy, per se.
So, one of my things is this: in 2022, most people don't want to get married because, like, it's up to about 60% failed marriages. And now today, back in the day, my mother, father, my grandmother and grandfather, I come from a series of two parent households. And back then it was normal to be like, hey, we stayed together for our children's sakes. And nowadays it's like, okay, cool, you pop a kid out, all right, 1 week, bumps, it's over, I changed my mind, and that child has no father. And the rest is history, as they say. And so my thing is this: when are we gonna start fighting? Go back to fighting for your family, because the only people that suffer is the children. And back in the day, it was normal to say, okay, we stayed together for our children, you know, and that was honorable back then. Now, first sign you get married, have a child, first sign of Rocky Road, boom, divorce. And before the divorce papers are signed, both people are sleeping with somebody else. I mean, if you break up on a Sunday in 2022, they both sleeping with somebody Monday. Tell me I'm lying.
Yeah, you might have some truth in that.
I did a show where there was a young brother who, was murdered, suicide, and this is serious. This ain't no laughing matter, actually. Honestly, a lot of people are laughing at this situation, But I
Right.
cover a ton of stories every day, not every day, but a lot, where it ends up a lot of people cannot take it. A lot of men, I say, we are unstable creatures, and I've watched a lot of people, so I can't say it. But murder suicide that play out, and I did a show where a guy ended up, you know, murdering his ex-girlfriend. What do you think about the family structure today and how it coincides with our communities?
I don't even know if we have a family structure anymore. And I think that really is a big problem. And also, man, I don't know if if I could really say this. I really think Kanye was longing for a family and picked the wrong person to have a family with because, in my opinion, the Kardashians only respect their inner circle. Like, their siblings when it comes to family, their mother, their siblings, and their kids. But amongst all of the women in the Kardashian family, their men are always so dispensable. Like, they walk away with ease. For her to have 4 children by this man, and, even the fact that they aren't even all the way divorced and she's already flaunting around with another man shows how much respect she has for her kids because she's a public figure. So her kids are hurting. Her kids are hurting because their dad is no longer there. And she don't even care about flaunting around with another man. So is there even any respect for the family at all? I don't think so.
Yeah, and you know what? And it's becoming normalized, and it really is, and it's playing out. That clip that I just showed you guys, um, that young man, they released text messages from her, and yeah, you know what? And Kanye West, Kim Kardashian has a track record. She already has a track record from Ray J to the other dude to the other dude to the other dude to the other dude to the other
And
dude.
this is their third failed marriage.
Right, failed marriages and relationships, and that's what's playing out in 22, and it's disheartening because we're seeing so many, and where it's disheartening for me because I want our community to win so bad, and we do nothing but lose, 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 and violence, violence, violence. Where does all that come from? There's no fathers in the household today. Where does that come from? And it plays out on public. It's like, okay, cool. You have 4 kids with somebody. Up, first time y'all spot trouble, gone off to the next. And I want to show you guys some text messages from him. All right, so this is one of his text messages. Well, yeah, text messages. I have statements on Instagram. I have faith that we'll be back together. He went on. We have a public relationship because we are public figures. So the public and to the press sometimes people call me crazy. But to be in love is to be crazy about something, and I am crazy about my family, and which is honorable. All right, now.
But listen to that statement. The people who think that that statement is crazy, they probably come from dysfunctional families. They probably come from dysfunctional relationships. Because, like he's saying, you know what I'm saying? They have a public relationship. Now, people saying, take us out the chat, take us out the chat. But were y'all saying that when y'all was keeping up with the Kardashians for 20 years? Y'all been in the chat.
All right, so this is the next tweet, um, Instagram post by Kanye West. One of them was saying, I don't have beef with Kim. I love my family, so stop that the narrative. Hold on, let me bring this a little bigger. Um, I am not giving up on my family. And he used all caps, and he's going to address this in all caps. I bought this coat for Kim before Saturday Night Live. I thought it was particularly special. I have faith that we'll be back together. I hold nothing against Daily Mail. I got love for everyone in the media, and I wish all of them happiness in the world. I speak directly to the media outlets, same way a ball player speaks to the refs. The world is in our court like a basketball court. court of public opinion. We have a public relationship because we are public figures. So the public and to the press sometimes call me crazy, but to be in love, ain't least that on Valentine's Day. Um, Several other tweets played out, but this is the timeline here and how it all played out with Kanye West and Kim. First, it started in 2019. They were saying Kim filed for divorce, and that's another thing too. I think it's like 50 something percent of women who file for the divorce, and this is how it's gonna all play out. It's gonna say she filed for divorce in February 2021, stating irreconcilable differences. The pair who shared children together. However, things took a turn for the worse a few months. In October, surfaced that she's already been dating Saturday Night Live comedian. While Kim was forming a romance, Pete began to unfold publicly throughout November. Ye started making a bunch of grand declarations to bid his reconciliation on his marriage. It appeared to completely disavow their divorce. And likely so, he was trying to get back with his family. Despite Yeezy's public effort to win her back, Kim low-key quietly made, let me pause this. And this is how it all played out. She had a renewed relationship. January, the track mentioned Pete by naming in his rap song, saying, God, save me from this crush just so I can beat Pete Davidson. Another release, City of Gods. So he does have bipolar. Kanye West does something like, but despite already making his feelings this weekend, he made public appearance. The whole thing started on Saturday Night Live. Yeezy fans. So one of the things that played out publicly and that got everybody riled up is the fact that Kim denied him from coming to his own daughter's birthday parties. Now,
Right. And he crashed the party.
Yeah, somebody else had to tell him. Now, men, women, in 2022, don't do that. Stop the games. My grandmother and grandfather, my mother and father, they'll tell you in the gate, y'all lay down and add that, y'all take care of that, y'all see to that. Ain't no games being played. You know what I'm saying? Games should never be played. Y'all lay down, grown people. That's the father. He deserves to be at that party. And the game plan. That should have been the first person. Here's what we're doing for that child's birthday. What do you have to say about that?
Definitely. I as I said, when it comes to the Kardashian women, they are some toxic women and they want to control all the narratives, right? So, as involved as Kanye is with his kids, because he's very involved with his children, for her to not be able to put whatever she has to the side to just allow him to come to his child's birthday party. Let's go deeper into this. This shows a little bit about how much she actually loved him and cared about him, because she knew he had bipolar disorder when she married him. Now, if you marry anybody with bipolar disorder, then you know that they're going to have some ups and downs. Why would you use their children as pawns? He should have been allowed to come to his child's birthday party. It wasn't at her house. I can understand if she didn't want him at her house, if he has to see his kids in other places. But the thing is look, Kim Kardashian has been living in the public for 20 years. So we haven't heard anything publicly as to why she didn't want him coming to the party. So why does she choose to keep certain things private and then live everything else public? It's just all so confusing. It's all so confusing. If I was Kanye, I'd be pissed off too. Why can't I come to my kid's birthday party?
All right, so now those people Why is this relevant far as Chicago and our communities, and how does it come back to violence? We know for a fact 87% of the juveniles come from what? A single parent household. 87 of the drug dealers, killers. Every negative stat comes back to the home. And we are literally promoting a broken home. In 2022, back in the day, it was normal to fight for your family. And they said it's cheaper to keep her. And once upon a time, you fought for your family to be together. The only people that suffer is the children.
It's just all confused, and that's all South.
And in 2022, it's divorce, divorce, run, run, run. First sign of trouble, boom, divorce. Boom, go sleep with somebody else. And we're watching murder suicides. I cover them every day. And this is the reality that we face, and it must be addressed. That's why we are having this conversation, because it's something that needs to be addressed. When are we going to go back fighting for our families, fighting for our children? Because men, do you want another man raising your child, teaching your child how to ride a bike, disciplining your daughter? Or ladies, do you want somebody else to be disciplining and showing your son, your daughter? You know,
Right.
we living in a world, to me, that's just from what I saw. I grew up with both parents. I grew up with both, you know what I'm saying, on both sides, and this mental breakdown that we're seeing today is disheartening to me, because it
It
plays out
is
on the city streets.
disheartening. And I do agree that she is a narcissist, as one of the comments said. And you asked, why are we having this conversation? Because this conversation still needs to be had, and because we want to have the conversation. We're from Chicago. He's from Chicago, so this conversation needs to be had on a scale of, we're not here to bash him or her. We're here to talk about the situation.
Yeah, in that order. In that order. So, but playing with kids, so much, so many times do we see people using those kids as a pawn to play games. And now one thing I can say, I don't think that he should have publicly put her tweets out there, but she did get famous from being public. But so he shouldn't have put her tweets out there. But however, on the flip side, was that his last hope? Because he was trying to see his kids. He like, hey, I don't know my daughter's birthday. And the child would actually think, where's my daddy? Nobody's telling that child, mommy kept him from daddy. So that child would only think daddy doesn't love me. Daddy didn't even bother to show up. And that child would forever despise him, would hate him forever. He didn't show up to a birthday party. Daddy doesn't love
Yeah.
me.
And that's probably what fueled him to go, bro. He probably was sitting at home thinking like, man, my baby gonna think that I abandoned her. Like my baby or him, I can't remember which one it was, to be honest. My baby is gonna think that I didn't show up for them. Like that's a whole nother issue there.
Yeah,
But Kim only
absolutely.
cares about, like I said before, Kim only cares about how she looks in the public. She because that was probably a part of her narrative to then later say Kanye didn't even show up to his own child's birthday party. And I truly believe if he wouldn't have crashed it, that's what she would have done.
And we're seeing that play out with so much. I can count how many lives, how many videos I watch, and how many friends and family. We all can contest to that. Every single one of us have family and friends where they're actually going through this. And it is all too often. Both y'all laid down that father has the right. Let's stop using these kids as political pawns for your own agenda, to get back at him, to get back at her. It's only destroying the children, and the children will come out as we're looking at the Chicago city streets, and we're trying to rack our brain on what's happening. Why are these kids so crazy? So for those in the comments that saying, hey, let's talk about Chicago city streets, we are. We're talking about the
Right. He is
roots
a
of the
product of
problem.
Chicago city streets.
So we're talking about the roots of the problem. Why are these kids killing each other? If you use those kids for a political pawn, This is what you're gonna see. None of those kids have good men in their ear saying, "Hold on, them rappers ain't really killing mofos. Those are entertainers. No, don't pick up a gun. No, get a job, go to school. Here goes some money for college. Here goes money to get you through." What are we seeing today? 90% of these children growing up with fatherless, with no children. 90% of our children are doomed and will fail. 90% of our community is screwed from birth today. No accountability, no coming back and fighting for the home. So salute. I actually glad that the brother's fighting for his family, because his children are going to come out cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if he ain't there in their life. Facts. That's just facts. If he ain't in them children's lives, those kids will be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. 90% chance they ain't going to make it. And that's just our stats in our communities. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm looking at the comments. It's crazy. You guys, we're talking about a broken family. We're talking about broken households, broken families, and us not really sticking together for our families, for our children. All of this, it's unfortunate because he chose someone who lives their whole life, publicly, like her. She has totally different values, and I really think that that's one of the biggest issues with them, is that they have totally different values. And so now it is playing out that they're not together where each person's values stand. And so I think that when people do marry, when you find somebody you want to be with, it is important that you talk about these things before you have kids, that you even talk about, like, hey, if we ever separate, how you feel about how we going to handle our kids. These conversations are had ahead of time, then we can kind of, if I had a conversation with someone and they tell me, look, if we separate, I bet not ever see another man around my kids, and I bet not this and that. That means you don't even really care, because what if you're not the man in the household, and I find a good man that wants to marry me and be good to my children, and you don't even care about that, you just care about what you want, then I might not want to go down that road. Not that I'm trying to get into a relationship and thinking about it going wrong, but I do think that people need to discuss some of these things ahead of time, so you can see where people's heads stand before you have children, before you get married.
You know what? Okay, so those don't know me, I'm around foreigners every day, all day. I'm around all types of from India, Asia, Africa. And I asked them, I have this conversation with foreigners all the time, and I challenge everybody watching this live. Have this conversation with foreigners. They're going to look at it. They look at us like, there was a chick told me, she said, "Donald, we don't sleep around like that. I don't just date, sex, kids, and then jump, flip, flop, flip, flop." That's what we doing today. It's crazy that 2022, our ancestors back in the day, it was like they got married at 17, 18, stayed with that person 45, 50 years until that person passed. That was that. They was with 1, 2 people, maybe. 2022, 10, 15 people by 20, normal. Kids by 10 different people, that's normal. And other people looking at us like, what's that? Okay, this kid is by who? Okay, and then that kid, and then they got different fathers, different mothers, and all these kids, and kids being treated differently. It just disappoints me that what our community has become. It really has. And what our society is deeming normal to me.
Yeah, what is normal? Like, what is normal? Because I hear a lot of people that's just like, he out here putting out these posts and things like that. I saw a woman say yesterday that with the post that he's putting out, she shouldn't even let him see none of the kids. Now, the post that we just read, that you just put out, what in that post says that he shouldn't see his kids? Nothing that I read. He says he loves his family, he loves his kids. Why shouldn't he see his kids? But we come from we got these generational curses. We come from some of these broken families. Some of us have these broken mamas that all we have heard all our lives is your daddy ain't shit. Your daddy ain't shit. Men ain't shit. Ain't no man no good. Girl, if he do this, just leave him. It's never try to work it out. It's never try to see what the problem is. Y'all try to go to counseling. Maybe he needs some help. If he needs some help, does that mean that you should abandon him because he needs help? Because when you marry somebody, it's supposed to be for good and bad, right?
Yep, yep. For
And
better or
I'm
worse.
not really sure. I know that Kanye left her physically, but do we even know if she made him leave? You
We
know what
don't.
I'm saying? We don't know that. And Kim ain't gonna say it because she ain't gonna want to tarnish her image. She is all about her image. All about her image.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is one. I'm watching, and a lot of people, the video I did of the young man, and then but public figures is one of the biggest bash to this because young men and women idolize public figures, rappers, celebrities, and then they think this is normal. Oh, have a kid with him. Oh, okay. As soon as you get mad at him, leave him. Oh, have a kid with him. Oh, leave him too. And it's just bink, 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 bink. Kanye West should have known what he was getting into. She already had a huge reputation. She already had that. Everybody
Yeah.
knew what she was on. She wasn't no housewife. She just wasn't. Honestly, I gotta say it. She wasn't a housewife. He made a mistake too. That brother should have known that you can't turn that into a housewife.
Now I definitely agree with you on that. I'm talking about her, but at the same token, Kanye is nowhere near. I don't feel like he's innocent in this either because we have all publicly watched all of those women emasculate men for years. Okay. Her mother is the queen of that. I mean, okay, her husband left and turned into a whole woman. So Kanye, he knew what he was getting into. On top of that, he ain't the stablest. I do agree he's not the stablest. I know that he has some mental issues, but she knew that as well. So if you're going into that, then you know that it's going to be a roller coaster, right? So you got to stick it out through that roller coaster because you knew from the get go. And again, she's on her third failed marriage, her umpteenth failed public, high profile public relationship. So is it him or is it her? Because she can't keep a man. She can't keep a man for nothing. You can't really say that about Kanye. You can't say that Kanye's been out here serial dating and that he's been in multiple marriages, have different kids. You can't say all of that about him. You know
Okay,
what I'm
so
saying?
all right, so you guys, all right, so what I talk about now on my show, I talk about the problems in our communities. I talk about that all the time. However, I also talk about solutions to the problems in our communities. Now, a lot of times I
Yes,
talk
love this
about
family.
not Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, but let's go back to our communities with why are we hopping in and out of relationships, hopping in and out of relationships, hopping in and out of relationships. To me, I think we are making it easier. How do you get more? Because now we're getting way more incentives to divorce somebody. Back in the day, there wasn't no child support. Back in the day, there wasn't no welfare. So y'all had to tough it out. And for the kids' sake, that was a great thing. Now it's like, oh, you want to leave them? Great. Child support? Cool. Welfare? Cool. You get anything. You got a house, you got free food, you got free everything. Just leave them. And it's incentivized, and therefore you get 10 times much. Before welfare in 1965, we had 91% two-parent households. Facts. And before 1965, we had 91% two-parent households. And
Yeah,
now we
we
get
They have definitely built the system to destroy our community as far as a family household. They're gonna give you welfare, right? They're going to give you a TANF check. You can get a TANF check, right? But you can't be receiving child support, or you can't be receiving other money to get that. They're going to give you food stamps, but you can't make a good amount of money to also get food stamps. They're going to give you Section 8, right? But what's the one thing that comes with Section 8? You better not have a man in your household. And every time they come and check your house, when they come and check your house every year, if there is a man in the household, you got to clear all his stuff out the house so it can appear that it is just you and your kids. We cannot think that this system is for us if the system is built for women to be on their own and to be by themselves. There's no reason that a struggling couple should not be able to also get the same assistance, but you cannot get that assistance as a struggling couple. Now, this doesn't, we can definitely steer off of the Kanye and Kim because this don't apply to them, but this applies to our community, to the minority community. There are all kind of systems set up for our households to be broken. And a lot of our women have fallen for that trap. And then they get so comfortable in the trap that if I'm paying $25 a month for rent, getting Section 8, I don't never want to marry nobody because I'm doing it all on my own. What do I need a man for? That is a huge problem in our community. Huge problem, in my opinion.
Yes, and the facts you can open up, you can pull up Facebook and see every day. Watch the news, and that is playing out on our city streets with these kids. Well, we're trying to put a Band-Aid on the bullet wound when they're 15 and 16 and have no guidance. Have nobody to show them how to be a man. They're gonna fail. And we know that for a fact. 90% of our children are doomed from day one, and we are incentivizing it from day one. Oh, you want to leave him? Cool. You want to sleep with him? Good. A baby come out? Great. We got you. You ain't got to worry. And that's what's happening. When you pay for bad behavior, you get 10 times more of it. That's just a fact. Somebody said, yeah, stop voting Democrat. Yeah, that's the same thing I'm telling people.
Yep.
Look,
Yep.
y'all can watch. Democrats are like, hey, let's give people free crack pipes. Guess what? You're gonna get 10 times more.
That's what you're gonna get. Free crack pipes with Democrats. And then someone also said the system was not designed for women of color. I disagree. I think that the system was designed for women of color to break up our households, and the incentives were designed for women of color to not want the men of color in their households, in my opinion.
No, you know what? No, that's an absolute fact. In 1970, they sat around and had this conversation. They study us. They got 500 years to study our behaviors. And in 1970, they had a project. It was a project in 1970 to see, we already know 90% of the children will fail without a father, right? So how do you get more of it? We had 91% two-parent household. The children without fathers will fail. So how do you get more of it? You pay them for it. So they had a project. In 1970, they said, let's get a project where we pay the women to not have a father in the household. It was such a success, the projects, that in 1973, they quadrupled welfare. Facts. And that's why they did. Ever since 1973, from us going to a 91% household, we're at a 91% single-parent household today in most areas. 73 to 91% single-family household. We had a complete opposite. And they sat around and studied us. We don't do these studies. There was a brother from Harvard that did the study and tried to put that info out. We ain't ready for that conversation. We are not ready for that conversation. People ain't ready. You won't see us talking about that ever. We failed for the trick. They got us. And a lot of people are like, wait a minute, that should be a good thing. No, it's not. If y'all implement the purge tonight, guess what you're going to get? 10 times more of it. You pay, and especially if you give a check, oh my goodness, you're gonna get 10 times more of it, and the rest is history.
You know, Tamika said neither party is good for us. What the hell are y'all talking about? Did you hear us? I don't unless I missed it. I didn't hear him say you should vote Republican. I never said it either. I said we shouldn't be voting Democrat. That does not mean that we should be voting Republican. Republican, whatever. It means that we should stop falling for the Democratic okey doke because some of us in our community only think that that's the way to go and the way to vote. I never said that the other party was any better. I don't think either one are. I think that we need to raise our own politicians and we need to create our own party, our own independent party that is gonna look out for us. So let me be clear about that because I saw your comment and I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying because we shouldn't vote Democratic that we should vote Republican. No one said that.
So,
Okay.
yeah, we need to form. I mean, just it ain't even about our community. Our poor people in general, and I mean, people of like
Right.
minds need to come together and say, "Hey, here's what we want." Other countries like Canada got free school, stuff like that, free healthcare. So until we sit down and say, "Hey, here's what we want," but however, one of the things in an independent party, and neither party can get elected without us. That's a fact. Neither party can get elected without us. So how about just like Ice Cube said, hey, let's sit down and here's our demands. And if y'all can't come with it, we gonna sit this one out. So y'all have at it. Y'all have at this election. But until somebody, and then y'all best believe there's gonna be a candidate that say, hey, what was y'all demands? Okay, I'll meet those demands. And okay, cool. That's who is going to get our vote. But y'all got to understand, why are we saying Democrat? Democrats are saying, hey, young lady, you want to have a kid with anybody? We'll pay you. And then, oh, you want to have another one with just anybody? Oh, we'll pay you more. The reason why we didn't get it, and somebody said that was a different era. No, it's not. Human nature is human nature. No other country in the world, well, some countries have it, but no other country has it. And they don't have the same problem. I talk to foreigners. They look at me like, Donald, we don't sleep around. I don't have baby daddies. That's weird to me. She looked at me like, Donald, I don't sleep around with different people. We don't have kids with just different people. We don't lay down and married and divorced and married and divorced. We don't do that. But here
We
we're
need
incentivizing it.
we need to no we need to stop falling for the okey doke. Now look at all this narrative they put out there to get Kamala Harris in here as vice president. Where's she at? Where's she at? Y'all saying her? What's she doing? What's she doing? I ain't never seen a vice president be so absent. Do y'all see her with our president? Do they be together? I don't never see them together. Where is she? That was just a whole ploy to get our vote and to get our trust. And then still, what are they doing? They ain't doing what are they doing that they said that they were gonna do on their platform? Because if y'all telling me, I know I might have missed it, but I ain't seen nowhere on that platform where they said they was gonna be giving out free crack pipes. Where the hell that come from? You know what I'm saying? Where the hell that come from? It's just ridiculous, and we have to build. We can't trust the politicians that they're putting in front of us, and that's why I always say we have to get off of what we've been generationally doing, and we need to build our own party. And that party needs the people who come up in that party. They need to be. We are the ones that need to put them in that party, and we need to hold them accountable for what they say they're gonna do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kamala ain't nowhere. She ain't nowhere. I saw her, I think the day before yesterday, for the first time speaking about this Ukraine issue. Now, why is she not? Because the whole platform was we're putting a black woman as a vice president. What has she come out to say that she is going to do for minority women? I'm not even going to say black. I'm going to say for minority women, because sometimes she black, sometimes she's a minority. That's a whole nother issue right there. It's
Right, right. And
crazy.
and when my thing is this, and people jump all over me when I talk negatively about Democrats. They're like, "Oh my God, what are you talking about?" Who? And that's how I used to be. I used to be a diehard blue, no matter who. But my thing is this: definition of insanity, doing the same thing and getting the worst results. Our Chicago city streets are 10 times worse right now. Every blue state, you see people flying from them and going to a red state. If you know Chicago, everybody's fleeing to go to Atlanta. Everybody's fleeing to go to Texas. Everybody's fleeing to go to Florida. If you know California, everybody's fleeing to get out of California. Everybody's fleeing to get out of New York. Everybody's fleeing to get out of Baltimore. We got to ask ourselves, wait a minute, why? Also, I was having a conversation with a sister. She was like, "Oh, Democrats is the best thing smoking. They do great." I said, "Well, sister, I tell you what. Would you go move your children next door to all the policies that Democrats have put in place?" I said, "No, you won't go to Inglewood and live there. You won't go to Austin and East Garfield Park and all these communities where your policies are 100% in play. You won't go there. I wouldn't. I know you wouldn't." And she's like, "No, I wouldn't." Yeah, okay. So now you got to reevaluate yourself, because if it's not working, why do you keep going for it? That's my problem. That's my thing.
And also down to the our local, one thing we really don't get involved in is the local politicians, the aldermans, the mayors, things of that nature. Someone asks, what have I done? I know I've gone hard for some people who I believe in. Case in point, Kim Fox. I go hard in the paint for Kim Fox. I was out here at these polls when she ran her first election, on top of being out here at the polls, and not just at the polls, but before we got to the polls, we was in the streets for her and a black judge that we helped bring into Chicago, because we felt that we needed to have representation. And Kim Fox is doing what she said she was going to do on our platform. And that was to make sure the people that came from her community were represented, and that they were treated the same way that the other people were treated. Y'all see, they trying to get her. They've tried ever since she got in to get her out of office. Why? Because they said she let too many of us out. Too many of us out. But when it comes to us black people, it's damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because some of us have jumped on board with them saying, yeah, she let too many black people out. She ain't let too many of us out. She went through the papers and she made sure that those of us that got railroad got up out of there. You go and do and serve your time. Then, hey, if I commit a crime and I commit the same crime that Billy committed, and y'all gonna give me 15 years and y'all give Billy 15 months, then I'm with Kim Fox. I'm with her. I'm with her.
All right. So now, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. This is a conversation that needs to be had. And so many times do we need to have these hard conversations, and that's why I'm glad you are here around. Everybody watching this live, make sure you go to Boss Conversations. Um, Janeah Davis, make sure you guys follow her. Go to her page. I'm gonna put a link to um, her podcast, her profile on Facebook. Tell us where we can find you at, sister.
Okay, you guys can find me at Boss Conversation. That is the business page, and my personal page is at Janeah D. As well on Instagram, it's at boss underscore conversations.
Okay, absolutely. Make sure you guys follow her here on Facebook, on Instagram. You have two pages. You have your personal page and you have your page for Boss Conversations. Make sure you guys follow her. I'm going to be sharing all of her videos. She has those hard conversations we need to have. What is getting and skipping around the real conversations gotten us? Nothing. We duck and dodge the hard conversations, but we don't even know. When Ice Cube sat down with Trump, everybody hated that man. And he said, wait a minute, I'm fighting for y'all. I tried to get this man to get all our demands met, and he was with it. But we wanted Joe. We ain't want to hear it just because, oh, so until we actually know what we want, we honestly can't give no demands because we honestly don't even know what's best for our community. We just don't.
No,
Anyway,
we
you
don't. And let me tell you something. Y'all could say all y'all want about Kim. Y'all saying she putting people out here, putting gun criminals out here and stuff. Did you hear that on the news? Or did you actually go and find the facts? Because let me tell you something. When they let Billy out for 15 months for having guns and this and that, because of whatever kind of, they say that it was something went wrong with this and that. Y'all be okay with that. Y'all be totally okay with that. Y'all totally okay with that. But when she goes through something and finds out that somebody was not, I'm not saying I want killers out here on the street, but I can say this, that the media talks about things that happen that's out of Kim's control and they put her name on it. So go beyond the media and really look and see who is responsible for some of these things, because sometimes Kim gets railroad.
well, you know what? All
But
right,
they're gonna
so
use her name.
you know what? I think she is being the pawn. A lot of these judges, the police superintendent and Mary Lori
Come on.
Lightfoot, had said some of these judges released a lot of killers on ankle bracelets, and Lori was like, "Yo, that's for non-violent offenders." Why are so many judges? I think Chicago and Kim is being set up. They're trying to let us kill each other. They want us to kill each other. They're letting out murderers purposely. The judges are. And the superintendent David Brown said that. He said, "Why are some of these judges purposely letting out a bunch of murderers?" And guess what they do? They repeat again. So I think they're using her as a scapegoat and blaming it on her, but it's not her. It was a lot of the judges. And David Brown called it out. And Lightfoot called it out and
And
said, "My
and
ankle
that's what I'm saying. When it's the judges, of course Kim has made some mistakes. I can I can agree to that. She has made some mistakes, but Kim is not the only one responsible for all of these people getting out. She's not the only one responsible. So all I'm saying is we can't just say it's Kim Fox. It's not just Kim Fox. It's not just her.
And you know what? And also right, it's the police has also stepped down. They stepped down when they said, okay, y'all want to protest us, we gonna protest y'all protesting us. So we gonna step back and let y'all have at it. As facts, we only got less than 10% murder rate. I mean murder clearance rate. So it's from everybody. It's from the whole top down is a complete failure at this point. But I think she's getting railroaded, and a lot of people want to put her as the blame, but it's a lot of blame to be tossed around. But anyway, make sure you guys go to Janeah Davis Boss Conversation. Make sure you guys add her page. I'm gonna put a link to it in the description box and in this video, so you guys can go to her page. Make sure you subscribe to her Instagram. Is there anything you want to say in the closing?
No, I'm good, bro. I think you know, I think as a whole, we all have to, for our community, just kind of step up and really get more involved ourselves. Someone said that they are afraid, Lindsay, I think it was, afraid to walk the streets because of the violence. I'm really sorry that that is the situation. And I live here too. So I understand that. But I think as a whole, as a community, we all have to step up and try to change those narratives. When you last voted, if you did last vote, did you go and look at all the judges that was on the voting that were on the ballot? And did you check and see which judges were a part of this twisted system? Or did you just not vote for the judges? Did you just pass it over? And I'm not speaking to you directly, sister. I'm just speaking. So I think that all of us need to be a little more proactive about our community, because we can't complain about the judges if we're not voting. Because who getting these judges in? Who keeping them in? We got to vote. That's good that you did vote, Lindsay. I'm glad that you did. I hope you did go in and look at all the judges and research them and everything else. But you're one person. Most black people do not do that at all. A lot of our black people go through that list and look for people who look like they have black names and vote for them and know nothing about their platform, what they've done, and I'm glad you do as well, Tony. But I know a lot of people don't do that. And I think our people need to learn how to vote, as Donna said. We need to learn how to vote because if you guys, and I'm not speaking to y'all that did it, but if you guys knew who was behind, who you're going to be, who these criminals are going to be facing when they go into court, then that might make a difference in the result, in my opinion.
Yeah, we gotta research who are we voting for. A lot of these judges, aldermen that we're voting for, we don't know nothing about them. And a lot of times we just vote Democrat straight down. That's that. That's has to change. And that's one thing I want to change. And I hope that's something that you want to change as well. But anyway, I got to get out of here. Appreciate you, sister, for coming on. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to be on your platform as
Yes,
soon as we
sir.
can, and have these hard conversations. Because most people are scared of these hard conversations, afraid of what other people are going to think about them. I'm not afraid of them conversations. We gonna have them on your platform too, sister. So I will be on Boss Conversations. I'm gonna
Yes.
be there to represent for you, sister. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody sending me stories. Shout out to everybody commenting. All y'all, I appreciate it. I'm gonna go through the comments, read them in a minute. But I gotta get out of here. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, sister.
Thank
Make
you,
sure,
brother, for having me on your platform.
absolutely, Lindsay. I'm glad you love it. Appreciate you. Make sure you guys like, comment. All of y'all share this video. All of y'all go subscribe to her
Thank y'all
channel.
for the dialogue because even those of you that don't agree with me, I am totally okay with that. And that's another thing, y'all. You got to be okay with people not agreeing with you. It's okay. Y'all, I respect your opinions. Some of y'all don't respect mine, and that's fine. But I respect your position because that's your position. It's okay to not agree, you guys. It's okay.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Hey, you may agree, you may disagree. However, hey, you know what? So next time I do have a number. Next time I'm gonna put a number up for you guys to call in, and I want y'all to give me your opinion. So our next conversation, which will be next week, we're gonna have this on a regular basis. I want y'all to call in. So I'm gonna put up a number for you guys to call in, and I want to hear it directly from y'all. Y'all don't have
Yeah.
to comment. You can just call in. All right, so make sure you guys like, comment, let me know what you think about this video. Peace, peace.